In the digital sprawl of 2025, two AI titans are rewriting the rules of technological dominance. OpenAI, $10 billion in annualized revenue. Anthropic, $4 billion and climbing. Combined projection by 2027, a staggering $85 billion. But in this neon-lit landscape of artificial intelligence, where Chrome meets code and algorithms rule empires, one question burns brighter than any server farm. Where does the real power lie?
Welcome to AI Unveiled.
I'm Asif Waliuddin, and if you've been following the AI revolution from the boardroom, the venture capital landscape, or the trenches of enterprise digital transformation, today's episode will fundamentally shift how you think about where value accumulates in the artificial intelligence stack. Drawing from over 2 decades in technology leadership, working with Fortune 500 companies through their most critical digital transformations, I've seen enough technology cycles to recognize when we're witnessing something genuinely unprecedented. And what's happening right now between OpenAI and Anthropic isn't just a revenue race, it's a fundamental restructuring of how value flows through the AI ecosystem.
The revenue explosion.
Let me paint you the picture that should be keeping every tech executive awake at night. 6 months ago, when OpenAI and Anthropic projected their 2025 revenue figures, the numbers seemed almost fantastical. Today, they're conservative estimates. From our vantage point at NxtG.ai, closely tracking industry trends, we're witnessing revenue acceleration unlike anything in technology history. Anthropic has rocketed from $1 billion annualized revenue at the start of 2025 to $4 billion today. That's not just growth. That's a fundamental market signal. But here's where it gets fascinating. And this is where most analysts are missing the story entirely. These companies are growing for completely different reasons. OpenAI's $10 billion is largely driven by ChatGPT subscriptions, the consumer application layer. Real humans paying real money for a tool they use daily. But Anthropic's $4 billion? That's API revenue. Developers. Businesses buying access to the models themselves, particularly for code generation and debugging. Through ongoing conversations with startup founders and tech innovators, what we're seeing is a clear bifurcation in the AI value stack, and this split is about to determine who wins the next decade of technology.
Real-world application. The cursor phenomenon.
Let me give you a concrete example that illustrates this perfectly. There's a company called Cursor that most enterprise leaders haven't heard of yet, but they should. Cursor is an AI-powered code editor that reached $500 million in annualized revenue faster than any software company in history. Faster than Slack, faster than Zoom, faster than any software-as-a-service product ever built. And here's the kicker. They spent $0 on marketing. Zero. Cursor is powered by Anthropic's models, but they're racing as fast as they can to reduce their dependence on Anthropic to improve their gross margins. Meanwhile, Anthropic just launched Claude Code, their own direct competitor to Cursor. This isn't just a business story. This is a perfect microcosm of the great AI value stack war that's unfolding right now.
The stack war reality.
For the past 2 years, the conventional wisdom has been that NVIDIA owns the bottom of the stack with their GPU monopoly, and the question was whether value would accrue to the model layer or the application layer above it. Grounded in practical applications, we're actively deploying at NxtG.ai. I can tell you the answer is more nuanced and more dynamic than anyone predicted. The model layer isn't getting commoditized. That was always a lazy analysis. But it's also not capturing all the value. What we're seeing instead is a complex ecosystem where value accumulates based on defensibility, user experience, and most critically, the ability to create genuine workflow transformation.
The 3-layer reality check.
Layer 1, infrastructure, NVIDIA. Still printing money, but compute efficiency improvements are beginning to challenge their monopoly. Layer 2, foundation models. OpenAI, Anthropic, Google. Not commoditized, but fragmenting by use case. Anthropic dominates coding. OpenAI dominates general consumer applications. Google is winning in enterprise through existing cloud relationships. Layer 3, applications. This is where the real war is happening, and it's more complex than anyone anticipated.
Real-world application. Enterprise. AI. Adoption patterns.
Drawing from over 2 decades in technology leadership, let me share what we're seeing in actual enterprise deployments. 92% of Fortune 500 companies are now using OpenAI's products in some capacity. That sounds impressive until you realize that some capacity often means a few developers experimenting with ChatGPT. The companies that are seeing genuine ROI, and I mean 20 to 30% productivity gains that hit the bottom line, are doing 3 things differently. First, they're not trying to boil the ocean. They're picking specific workflows and transforming them completely. Second, they're treating AI as a business process revolution, not a technology deployment. Third, they're building hybrid human-AI teams, not replacing humans wholesale. Every quarter, the distance between AI leaders and would-be innovators grows. The cause, not technology, but a lack of strategic execution.
The hidden patterns.
Now let me share what the headline numbers aren't telling you, and this is where my experience in enterprise digital transformation becomes critical. The real pattern emerging isn't OpenAI versus Anthropic. It's the emergence of AI-native companies that are fundamentally restructuring entire industries. Through ongoing conversations with startup founders and tech innovators, we're seeing something unprecedented. Companies that are achieving productivity multipliers of 10x or more by building AI into their core operations from day one. But here's the paradox that most business leaders are missing. The companies seeing the biggest AI productivity gains aren't the ones with the biggest AI budgets. They're the ones with the clearest understanding of which problems AI solves and which it doesn't.
Real-world application. The revenue Mirage detection matrix.
Grounded in practical applications we're actively deploying, at NxtG.ai, we've developed what we call the Revenue Mirage Detection Matrix. It's a framework for separating genuine AI business value from inflated expectations. The 4 quadrants are: first, real revenue, real value, Cursor, GitHub Copilot, enterprise coding tools. Second, real revenue, bubble value, consumer AI tools with unsustainable unit economics. Third, projected revenue, real value, B2B workflow transformation tools. Fourth, projected revenue, bubble value, most generative AI consumer applications. The companies in Quadrant 1 are printing money and will continue to do so. The companies in Quadrant 4 are heading for a reality check.
The defensibility question.
Here's what every business leader needs to understand. In AI, defensibility doesn't come from having the best model. It comes from having the deepest integration into workflows that people can't live without. That's why Cursor can charge $200 per month for their Pro tier and have customers lined up around the digital block. That's why Anthropic can command premium pricing for API access. That's why OpenAI's consumer business is actually more defensible than their enterprise business in the long term.
Your actionable takeaways.
From our vantage point at NxtG.ai, here are the 3 strategic imperatives every business leader needs to act on in the next 90 days. First, stop playing defense, start playing offense. The companies that are going to win the AI transformation aren't the ones asking, how do we protect ourselves from AI disruption? They're asking, how do we use AI to disrupt our own industry before someone else does? Action item. Identify your 3 most repetitive, high-value workflows, not the easy ones, the ones that, if transformed, would give you genuine competitive advantage. Second, think ecosystem, not tools. The value in AI isn't in individual tools. It's in creating AI-native business processes that your competitors can't replicate quickly. Action item. Stop piloting individual AI tools. Start designing AI-integrated workflows. The goal isn't to make your current processes 20% more efficient. It's to make them fundamentally different and better. Third, prepare for the margin compression wave. As AI capabilities become more accessible, traditional software margins are going to compress rapidly. The companies that survive will be the ones that use AI to provide value that scales with their customers' success. Action item. If you're in software, start transitioning to outcome-based pricing models. If you're in services, start building AI-augmented delivery capabilities that let you serve clients at scale without linear cost increases. The $85 billion projection for OpenAI and Anthropic combined isn't just a number. It's a signal flare illuminating the future of business itself. But the real story isn't about these two companies. It's about the thousands of companies that will build on their foundation to create the next generation of human-AI collaborative workflows. Drawing from over 2 decades in technology leadership, I can tell you that we're at one of those rare inflection points where the companies that move decisively in the next 12 months will have advantages that compound for the next decade. The question isn't whether AI will transform your industry. The question is whether you'll be driving that transformation or reacting to it. I'm Asif Waliuddin. This has been AI Unveiled, where we separate the signal from the noise in artificial intelligence. Until next time, stay ahead of the curve.
This segment of AI Unveiled is powered by NxtG.ai, where we don't just research and talk AI, we build it. Join our growing community of thinkers and builders. Check the show notes for deeper insights and exclusive premium reports. Let's shape the future together.